Welcome to Dirt Diaries, the podcast where the women of agriculture get real. From muddy boots to boardrooms, we're digging into the unfiltered stories of the FarmHers, ranchers, and every her shaping the future of ag. This isn't just shop talk, it's real talk. We're covering career paths, big wins, hard lessons, and everything in between. So whether you live it every day or you're just ag curious, pop in your earbuds and get ready. These are the raw, inspiring, and wildly relatable conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Let's dig in. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dirt Diaries. Today's guest is one of the most inspiring and truly global stories we've featured on the show. We all know her as Lana, and she's a powerhouse in the agribusiness world. Born and raised in Ukraine, she's now the portfolio director at Women in Agribusiness, leading the charge to elevate women's voices and create meaningful opportunities across the industry. Over the past 20 years, Lana's produced more than 50 major agribusiness events across Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and the Americas, bringing together leaders, innovators, and changemakers from around the world. In our conversation, Lana opens up about her journey into a traditionally male-dominated industry, how she's navigated culture shifts and challenges, and why she believes so deeply in the power of women supporting women. Lana's insight, warmth, and passion for building community shine through in everything she says. And I know you're going to walk away from this episode feeling inspired and ready to make your own mark. So let's do it. Let's get dirty with Lana. Lana, thank you so much for joining me on Dirt Diaries. Probably a new face to a lot of our viewers, listeners, you name it. But thank you again. Like I said, we are here obviously to get to know you a little bit better and talk about women in agribusiness. So I'm just going to kind of hand it on over to you and tell me a little bit about yourself. And then obviously, you know, your role in the industry.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm very excited to be. I was listening for the podcast last couple of weeks, and it's really like amazing. I'm praising your all the efforts because it's a lot of work behind. It's a lot of like really hardcore journalistic work behind. So I really appreciate this invitation, and you guys are doing a great job.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
So a little bit about myself. As we have this saying, I'm widely known in narrow circles. So
I like that. Hey, that's a good saying.
Yeah, it's like I've been in agriculture for 20 years, initially quite big and active in European and Middle East markets. And initially I was known as Lana Grain or Agri-Blonde. It's my second like fun name. You know the legally blonde thing.
Yeah,
that it comes from. Exactly.
I love it.
And I was starting my career in Eastern Europe, and it was 2007, 2005. It was a big shift in the whole grain trade, and we're doing a lot of international events, trying to connect together exporter and importers. And then I just evolved, and we started to develop some other activities. And I was doing a lot of stuff across the whole media, from editorials to being a speaker of like more than 200 events globally, and doing a lot of events. And this is all about agriculture, mostly about commodities, a little bit about like inputs, biological inputs, and the traditional chemical pesticides, seeds. So yeah, very agricultural across the whole value chain. It's me, 20 years.
Wow.
Counting.
So you've worn a lot of hats in this industry and obviously globally. I mean, what's that been like, just traveling and having to meet with different people, sometimes like-minded, but even though we're all in the same industry, I mean, a lot of different people have a lot of differing opinions about what's going on and how our industry should work. So kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think the whole international angle is extremely challenging, but so excited. I've been to more than 50 countries, and it's always like business travel. Some countries have been multiple times, like Egypt, because it's the biggest importer of wheat, or China, India, because we're like, and still are big importers of sunflower oil. So it's really interesting to see all the different people. But I think the power of agriculture, because it's such a important business, it's food security, it's providing people with food. And for some countries who like very much depend upon imports, if we talk about Egypt or any Middle East countries, they look at you as you're a god if you come to them with a solution to buy the commodities for, better prices. So I think it's really interesting angle, and it was challenging when I was young. It was super challenging. I will tell you the story when I was just starting. I'm tiny. I'm like petite, 5'3", and like very not super skinny now, but I was extremely skinny and pale.
I can
So
tell you're tiny. You're tiny. Yeah, you're
yeah,
skinny.
and because I was like a baby looking, I was a teenager looking when I was 26, and I had to cut my hair short and dye it to black, like very like black suits, very like I was trying to look older. That was my the whole thing for me. Just starting my career, being like on it, being proactive. I wanted to look older. I wanted to look more serious. I like rarely smile, but then I just got started to talk to people, and they're like, "Oh, you're cool, you're smart, you're funny." Just and my initial thing, I was so much afraid to be like anything but cute. I want just to be serious. I want just not to look like a blonde. It was so funny. I wanted to look older for people to take me seriously. And
That's
now I'm just,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember it laughing, but can you imagine like a kid going somewhere to the Ministry of Supply of Egypt and meeting with the minister and telling about the
No.
conference? It was very stressful because of how I looked. I wanted people to take me seriously. And when I opened my mouth, it was easier. And when I give some examples, and I still respect people and traditions and trying to be very, very respectful whenever I go. But that was my like challenging part because of how I looked. It's not just being female, it's because I look like a teenager. And this is not an easy angle just to come into the like room and just own the room if
Yeah.
you look like a teenager. So yeah, that was a funny and very humbling, but still, I remember now that like thinking about it with a smile, but then I was like, okay, what should I do to look older?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that a crazy thing? I mean, we always actually talk more about whether it's female versus male. And a lot of the times I go out to farms and ranches and I visit with a lot of people in the industry, mainly women. I do a show on women, and that's where
Yeah,
Dirt Diaries derived from. But the men actually, they're like, we don't have a problem. We just come on, get horseback or
yeah.
work alongside us or let me teach you XYZ, you name it. And so it's funny when the females are like, yeah, they didn't even think anything of it. But it's kind of just this because of how past generations have been, though, this preconceived notion that we have of, hey, I want to have a seat at the table. What is it going to take? And for you, you were like, I obviously was already a female, but I wanted to look older and treated with respect. So I have to change my looks to be able to have a seat at the table.
Yeah, guys don't have this problem. And I think in general, we women, we so much like living in this stigma, in this pressure of society.
Yeah.
We are so critical to ourselves. We just don't give ourselves a break. And I think this is the biggest problem I really see in so many women. We are perfectionists. It's not a good thing. It's because we have so much pressure and we just we criticize it. We're like the biggest critics of ourselves. That's the thing. And we men don't have that problem. That the whole world is already existing actually like for them, and for us it's a different angle. And I think why it's important to make events like we're doing for women to support each other, because we already have like the big critic sitting inside each of us, right? So
Yeah. And before we get into the event, I want to obviously talk about that
yeah,
and
yeah,
women
yeah.
in agribusiness. I want to ask you quickly, though, did you grow up in agriculture? Or how did you get involved in this industry?
This is a very funny thing. I think I'm quite a contradictive person. It's like, I have a lot of extremes, and one of the extremes I've experienced being a kid. I was from big city, from 1 million citizen city, very industrial, very like, asphalt jungles, like, but every summer my mom sent me to village to her mom and my aunt, and it was two completely different lives. Like in
Wow.
city, I was a city girl. It's like, it was so much, restricted by this public transport. It like, with machines and in trams, and the summer when I was wild, when I was barefoot, when I was doing a lot of agriculture activity. We have like a acre, and it was mostly like fruits and vegetables and a lot of like a small garden, a lot of apples. And I came from that generation and from that tradition when they believed that it's very good for kids to be involved into physical labor, And my aunt, who lived all her life in village, when asked, a couple of her nephews and nieces came from cities, she's like, okay, city kids, now I will teach you real life. Now, and they believed it's good for, so they were exploiting us in all possible ways. I was doing so many crazy things. I was picking Colorado beetles with my hands. So we have a kind of like a buckle, like thing with the water, so we're picking them with our hands, put them there, they put them on the road and dance, just killing them. Yeah, but if you ever touch the Colorado beetle, they produce this liquid, this bright yellow liquid, you don't know, orange liquid. It's very difficult to wash it from your hands. So I remember my hand, and it doesn't smell well. It smells like
Oof.
so yeah, this is one of my vivid, very early memories. Picking cherries. I was also, being involved, helping my aunt to take care of cows and goose and dogs and chicken. We were like preparing the food for them. We were helping her to. It was like everything. We were weeding, take weeds from potato, and they say, no, you should do it with your hands because this is a proper way to do it. So that was a crazy part of my life, like 3 months, like the whole summer I was spending there and then returning to the city and then getting back again to this wild village countryside life. So I understand agriculture very well. And my mom, she's from village. She's like still very much village girl.
Yeah.
So I think that part of me, it's from my mom, definitely. So I feel like in my natural habitat, whatever it's related to, like make your fingers dirty.
What great exposure. That was great exposure though. So that way, as you grew up and went to different stages of life and were deciding what to do with your life, you kind of had, I don't want to say the pick of the litter, but you kind of got to choose. You knew what was out there for you in a way.
And I had, even at that time, so much respect to people who are involved in agribusiness, because I compared the city life and like they wake up at 4, they wake up with roosters, they day so long, they have so many challenges to overcome, weather, it's so difficult, it's so complex, and they're connected to nature, but still it's a lot of like very heavy labor. It's difficult, it's hard. And I had this respect, and I met so many amazing people in village, in countryside, all this wisdom, all this, only farmers, only people who connected to land, they have it across the whole world. When traveling later, I've seen that farmers are very similar everywhere in the world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, the experiences you have, I feel like we could probably talk for hours. You probably should write a book. I mean, you've seen a lot.
I'm writing a book, by the way.
Okay, good. Yeah. I was going to say you probably should. Switching gears a little bit, I want to ask you about women in agribusiness. Tell our viewers what that's about. And I know we have an exciting event coming up.
Yeah, so thank you so much for supporting our event. It's really a legendary event with huge legacy, 14 years anniversary. I'm so excited. And I heard about this event first time being in Europe, in London. And they told me, oh, there is an amazing event in the United States. It's the best. And then like half a year later, I got a job to be portfolio director of this event. So this brand is so huge, it's so global. And I think it's what makes this event unique. It's this fantastic combination of being truly industry event when we have a lot of data, a lot of insights, a lot of like market focus, and this fantastic networking. But it's not just networking to make deals and to business, yes, but it's networking to support each other, and it's networking to celebrate and to have this feeling of community, of this, environment where everyone is just happy and smiling and like understand, like walking like in my shoes, being a woman agribusiness. So this year we're in Orlando, September 22, 24 in Hyatt. It will be a fantastic event with a lot of amazing speakers, a lot of cool topics. So yeah, it will be very, very cool.
Throughout all your travels and being in this industry and your various roles that you've carried throughout this industry, why do you feel it is important for people to attend events like this and really get just a deepened appreciation or a broader scope on really what is going on?
I do believe that we, on this event, we fill 2 gaps. Like everyone, when you're in the market, especially in agribusiness, when things are changing every marketing season dramatically, weather, crops, regulations. So we put a lot of content. So it's very important if you're in agribusiness to be on top of the market, to see what's going on, to hear all these insights from the different segments, because agriculture is like value chain from farmers to food industry. There are so many different players involved. So what we try to do, we try to incorporate into our agenda topics which will resonate to everyone across the value chain. Because on our audience, we have farmers, we have big traders, we have processing plants, millers, logistics, we have everyone. So we really try to build the content for each of them will find something extremely useful, helpful, and market is quite challenging. You see what's going on, so many shifts, weather, regulation. So we'll give a lot of content, but the most interesting, I think, and it's of course networking. I'm a big believer in networker. I'm literally like someone who built the whole global network of my ag people, of my ag tribe, my community, my village. And I do believe that events, it's an amazing opportunity to build your own network. And it's number one asset in the business, any business, especially in agriculture, because it's very like human to human focused. So this event gives so many opportunities to build networking and to build these connections, because as you know, we have not just sessions and people sitting in the conference room and listening. No, we divide people by groups. We create different kind of morning yoga, coffee break, that networking sessions. So we create this smaller group. We divide people into smaller groups to create these additional layers of networking based on hobby. I'm not in yoga, but if it will be something like, I don't know, like I know people will happily find someone who not only in ag, but also same have passion in yoga. We have farm tours. You will be on the bus like for an hour. Of course, you will be talking to these ladies on the bus and it will be like already friends after that, excursion. So I think the idea that we create so many layers of networking and divide people into different groups makes this event absolutely mind-blowing from the point of view of building, creating this very strong business and personal friendship relationship.
Well, I think I want to go off of that a little bit too, because I think there's several different industry outlets throughout the year that offer this through different sectors of whatever part of the business you're in. Like you said, whether it's the farmer or you're on the trading floor or you're a producer at a packing plant or a buyer for a produce, your produce broker. On the business side, as we know, it is great to go to this stuff because you want to keep up with industry trends, regulations, everything that's going on in the business side. Networking obviously is always great as well. But on a personal, you kept talking about that. And I think that's something sometimes we lack, because in this lifestyle, it can be so seclusive and so secluding. Like you're off on your own, you're kind of doing your own thing. You ask for advice, but you're a loner a little bit. And so how important is it for people to take part and go to as many of these events, and especially like a women in agribusiness, and really do that for themselves on a personal level?
Yeah, for this event, we have not only market content, we have a lot of professional development content. We have really like how to operate and to build this resilience of changing times. So we have culture panel talking about like the culture and organizations. We also have this like professional development angle, like helping you to get the soft skills you need to be a successful manager or successful leader. Also, I think important part of the event that we have more than 30% of C-level executives on our delegates list. And it makes this event so inspirational because you can come and meet with someone like Pam Moron, who's like a legend in the industry of biopesticides, who like really like a global star. Or you could talk a couple of like amazing, like Karen Brown, who's my all-time famous like agricultural analyst, and she's also famous globally. You can just sit and we talk to them like on coffee break and got all this inspiration just to be in their halo. So it's about this opportunity to meet these amazing women, to get this inspiration, to get this vibe. And I think this event, because it's females focused, it has a lot of celebration. I like this word because for women who achieved high top positions, or even like not that high but still position, it's for a very long time very male industry. We already all winners. We already deserve this opportunity to meet once in a year, look at each other and like, wow, we made it. Like, so this celebration and this, like, I'm so proud to see successful women. Whenever I see title of some speakers, I'm like, oh my God, I want to do like that.
Yeah.
So I think this is like important, this emotion, this inspiration, this vibe of this achievement that we share it together. We're like pioneers, we're leaders, and we are like women who changed their business. I started 20 years ago. Every year I see visually and as organizers that the share of women is increasing. I remember 20
Which is
years ago,
great.
it was mostly like suits, and guys, area. But now look where and it's amazing. So, yes, it's networking, it's content, but it's also about this female power and celebration.
And we love that. Hey, we really do love that on Dirt Diaries. I mean,
Yeah.
we go a lot of things with the her at the end, and so we appreciate that. But now I'm gonna, I'm looking forward to this event. Tell our viewers again the exact dates of it, and if they want more information about it.
Yeah, it's from September 22 to 24, Orlando. Our website, womeninag.com. And yes, we still have discounted prices. We have all the agenda ready for you to have a look. And we have like 95% of speakers confirmed for today. So welcome. Hope to see you there. And yes, let's celebrate together.
Yeah, because again, these events just are so spectacular, not only from the industry knowledge standpoint, the education standpoint,
Yeah.
but just personal growth,
Yeah.
especially for yourself and for your role in the industry. But we're going to get to know you a little bit more. We have some fun questions to ask you. And so this one's called Break the Ice. Do you have a habit that maybe would surprise people that you just, it's something maybe weird to you or interesting, but just a habit that you have?
I love to sing. When I
Oh,
was younger, I was 100% sure I will become a singer. Oh my gosh, like whenever I have my family, my kids, I have two teenagers. Like, oh no, no. So I don't have a lot of opportunities to sing, but whenever I have this opportunity, I sing because I love it, and I like some of my girlfriends. Sometimes we go to do and sing together, but this is something my guilty pleasure and the habit. Whenever I'm in shower, I sing. So sorry, guilty, but this is something I definitely would do professionally in my next life,
I
hopefully.
love that. That is great. Well, I was just going to say your hidden talent, but I think that's a part of that, your habit, your guilty pleasure, your hidden talent. Or is there another hidden talent people might be surprised by?
I think I'm quite funny, and English is my third language. So whenever I crack a joke, and my husband, American husband, is laughing at my friends, and I'm like, can you imagine how funny I am in my first language or my second language? So I do believe I have this ability, and especially in very stressful times, to be funny and to be witty and to find this opportunity to keep the spirit of the team with jokes and a sense of humor. I think it's amazing instrument of human well-being, of connection. So I do believe I have a good sense of humor. Sometimes I get lost in languages, but yeah, I think it's something I really really, yeah, proud of, and I'm happy I have this quality.
I appreciate wit and a great sense of humor. So that is, I can't wait to meet in person. But what are your other languages then that you mentioned? What are your first two languages, your main ones?
My first is Ukrainian, but
Okay.
as I was born when Soviet Union still exists, so they banned it, and I was forced to learn Russian to
Yeah.
go to school. So it's like, and also I speak Spanish intermediate level, by the way. So it's like, yeah, it's like after English, but I like Spanish language very much, and I wish I would have more opportunities to practice it and to learn it and travel more to some Spanish speaking countries like Spain or Costa
Yeah.
Rica is my favorite destination. Yeah.
That is incredible. Very impressive. Very, very impressive. Um, if you could participate in one reality TV series, what would it be? Would it be a singing one?
Or Dancing with the Stars. I
Oh,
like to watch dancing. I think all this. My mom wanted me to be ballerina. It was her dream because she's from the village. She didn't have opportunity, but she always wanted to be. So she was trying to push me to that. Yeah, very, very challenging and hard. I've been in ballet for like half a year, and they just quit. I say it's too difficult, but I like to watch people dancing, and I think I like to challenge myself. So
yeah.
singing competition would be easier for me, singing TV show, but dancing would be harder. But I would love to push myself into that, definitely. Yeah.
Great answer. Switching on to a different one. This is the Women in Agribusiness Survival Kit. So you're at the conference. What's in your bag when you're producing such a major conference like this? What's like some go-to things that you have in your purse or, your book bag?
Wow, I have a lot of stuff. I literally always feel that I'm responsible for my team and for my delegates. So I have a lot of painkillers. I have like a lot of even some kind of like first aid kit because I have a couple of really scary situations where I got a panic attack of one of like
Oh, yeah.
organizers. And so there are always some weird situations that I have, oh, I have this thing, I can help you. And people, are you like, will get a medical degree? I'm like, no, I'm just a traveler and I'm a mom. And just I'm like, I'm exposed to so many different like events. So I more or less know what to do. I always have a piece of good chocolate with me because
Ooh.
I do believe with all the stress of this job, this is something surprisingly you can find in my purse. It's like a proper bar, like of good, not super dark, but not milk chocolate. And sometimes I have situation when I was flying and the woman near me, we have a crazy turbulence and she was wrecked and very bad. And I literally said, okay, now we will share this chocolate bar and you will be chewing the sweet thing and we will talk to you. And it helps somehow. So you never know. So yes, it's a lot
Chocolate.
of medical stuff and it's chocolate. This is something what you will not expect to see, but event organizers is a stressful job and we need chocolate. We do.
Chocolate. Noted.
Yeah.
Well, a part of that, name 5 things that you won't travel without, which I'm assuming chocolate's one of them.
Comfortable shoes. Yeah, I'm like walk a lot, and when you travel, you have to walk a lot, and when you have a long flight, your feet getting bigger, all that. So it's definitely number one. It's I don't care how they look, if they're comfortable, and my comfortable like super comfortable, like comfy, very light, very like. So it's number one, very comfortable shoes. Number two, chocolate and some. I'm a big fan of black tea. I'm from that part of the world where we have the culture of hot black tea. So even if it's like 100 degrees, I'm still drinking hot tea. I'm that kind of person. And my husband, like, how is it even possible? Like, I don't know, it's a habit. So I always take the tea bags with me because, everywhere could get some black tea. I have, I think, perfume. I've got a lot of napkins and good books. Sometimes I really
Yeah.
like still old school, like
Read a
paper
book. Yeah,
books,
I'm the same way. I like
especially
a book.
I think when you touch it, it's
Mm-hmm.
something calming, something soothing. If like it's maybe something comes from your time when you were younger and you didn't have the cell phone. So I like to touch, and I don't have much time except for traveling. So yeah, it will be book, or I buy books in the airport. So always, yeah. So this is my must top 5 things to travel with.
That is great. This game is called Power Moves Only. So, just some quick questions. How do you handle a situation like this? Because,
Okay.
again, it's stressful, but we know what you have in your bag. If the stress takes over and you just need a bite of chocolate, or you're walking in the airport, or moving throughout the day, comfortable shoes, a tea bag,
Yeah.
all the things. But if a keynote speaker cancels the night before and they're speaking that next morning, what do you do?
Well, I will look in the list of the delegates, and there 100% will be some of my friends, people I know forever, people who most definitely will never tell me no. And I will give them a call and say, okay, I will own you like forever. Just save me. Just save me, please. And yeah, and okay, I was speaking for so many events, so I could replace some of the speakers, not all of them, but I also can do it myself. So it's something I don't want to do, especially if it's my event, but it's my industry friends, and it happened several
Yeah.
times in the
It's
past.
good to have friends like that. You
Or
got to have
I can
friends
do
like
it
that.
myself. I even had a situation when I have to replace simultaneous translation person. Yes, I should be sitting in the booth half of the day because we got crazy situation and I was translating and it was insane. Now I have so much respect to people doing it. It's like the most difficult job because it's so hard. You need to think so fast. And I have all those Red Bulls and cappuccino and I was doing it for 3 hours and I felt like I never felt that exhausted in my life. It's so hard. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Two attendees make a major connection because of your programming. And so, where do you take it from there for them? Do you, help them facilitate it? Do you just let them ride off into the sunset? What does that look like when that happens?
When they have a kind of conflict,
Like a business connection.
Business
And so
connection.
they're like, hey, we can get into business together, or we can do XYZ, or there's just something that is really big and instrumental for the industry that comes from your conference that you put on.
Well, I have so many cases like that
Oh,
because
good.
the part of our my first job in company. I spent 15 years. We also have a lot of consulting. We're doing like literally. And they called me Sveta, it's like another name, Lana, connecting ag people. So I was connecting people. So it was a big part of my activities. So when we were doing these couple events, especially in the first time in new destination, people came to us, okay, help me to meet, for example, I want to buy corn, or I want to buy like Brazilian soybeans, or I want to buy US wheat, help me. And we intentionally have people, we connected people. So I think for us, it was important to make sure that both contracts are legit, that they don't have like any kind of reputational problems. So that was like we're vetting literally these people. And normally, like especially in trading or is inputs business, people like click very fast, they very fast see an opportunity. So for us, it's just to make sure that they all like have this, for example, place to sit and talk. That's why I like to have so many different zones for networking, because sometimes people need to discuss details and like without all that noise of big events. So to create this, opportunities for them just to discuss everything and move forward. Good Wi-Fi, some basics of events, because it's important. So it's like very general things, but it's about more to make sure that these two people have no reputational risks. Because when we're talking about international events and international business, many people have no idea who is who in this country, who is who in like this part of the world. And we as organizers, we're trying just to double check, maybe just reach out to several people. Have you heard about this company? Is it true that they're big importers? Is it true they have milling in crushing capacities, etc., etc.? So that could be our part, but yeah, I did it in past quite often.
Yeah. Well, I won't keep up much more of your time. I just want to thank you again for digging in and joining us here on Dirt Diaries. I am so looking forward to the event in Florida, meeting you in person, and then getting to meet all the different people and just listening to what everyone, the wisdom that they have to bestow upon all of us. So I'm looking forward to that. But before we sign off, this is something we like to do because it is Dirt Diaries. So if you were to have a diary and you were to write in it that someone was going to read about women in agribusiness, what would you want it to say? What would you write so people read that and understood what it really meant?
I would highlight that it's something unique. And I mean it because I've been to so many events and I have this it's one of a kind. Nowhere in the world there is no big event of that scale on this market depth, especially for women. It's amazing. I would mention that. And I would mention that this event is truly a movement. It's not just a conference. It's something much bigger. It's something that change people's lives, no less than. So yeah, I think being a part of this event is a huge honor for me. And I think it's a quintessence of all my past career as a female in agriculture. And I'm so happy that we could help other women, that we could help so many people, just to empower them, to give them tools and to give them this feeling that we own this market, we own this room. And like we're not on the secondary roles anymore. We are in power. So that's what it's all about.
I love that so much. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us on here at Dirt Diaries.
See you in Orlando.
Yes, and I'll see you in Orlando. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for today's episode of Dirt Diaries, where the women of ag leave no story untold. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone else. Until next time, keep showing up, speaking out, and getting your hands dirty.